Following the release of Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, Sony began developing the sequel. Kasdan returned to direct the sequel, with Rosenberg and Pinkner again writing the script and Johnson, Hart, Black, and Gillen reprising their roles. Jack Black confirmed the new film as being a fourth Jumanji film because of Zathura: A Space Adventure from 2005, serving as the second film and sharing continuity with the other films of the series, with Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle serving as the third film. According to Kasdan, the film used the working title J19. The film's official title was revealed, and the film was released on December 13, 2019, with the title Jumanji: The Next Level.
What the hell, man?
They're flightless birds.
This is a flightless dude buggy!
We're not going to make it. We're going to make it.
No, we're not!
I don't think we're going to make it. We're going to make it. We're not going to make it.
Let them fight. You're a wizard, Harry.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. I'll be back.
Death has come to your little town, Jim.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Chills and Thrills for another episode. Connor here along, as always, with my co-host Chris, and today we are looking at Jumanji: The Next Level. And this is a film like we had spoken on in our last episode that I loved the first Jumanji film. I think it's an all-time like classic in my mind, and in a lot of people's mind, with Robin Williams starring in that one. I loved the reintroduction that we got in the 2017 Jumanji film, starring like Dwayne Johnson and bringing Kevin Hart in and Jack Black and just everyone that was in that film. And it wasn't one I went to see in theaters, and I loved it. I didn't see this one in theaters either. I kind of waited because I didn't know if this one, after the success of Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, would be like this quick cash grab sequel where they just tried to do some quick gimmicks with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, and like I wasn't sure what they were gonna do with it. I loved that they brought in Danny DeVito's character. I was a big fan of him in the Schwarzenegger film, with him and Schwarzenegger twins, and with him in the film Matilda, and just some of his older films. So seeing him in this was great. And this franchise so far, to me, with this film, ended on a high note. I know they say we're supposed to be getting another film with these soon. They say there's 4 films in this one, including the Zathura film. But to me,
Zathura doesn't count.
I was kind of thinking that as well.
I'm sorry, it doesn't really count. I'm sorry.
No, we have 3 Jumanji films, and I mean, I think this Jumanji trilogy ended on a high note with supposedly a 4th film in the works. So we'll see what happens, but I really did like this film. And I know, Chris, you said you seen this one in theaters as well. So how did you feel about this one?
I did. The interesting thing is they kind of did do just kind of the sort of cheap superficial stuff you think they would do, and they did make this one quick. It was just out 2 years after the first, the second one, but the first one of this new iteration. But it kind of all worked, and it kind of still made for a really entertaining movie. And I mean, these are comedies, so maybe, the standard is a little bit lower in terms of, plot, franchise, lore, mythology, and whatnot. But they made a completely worthy sequel to the previous entry, and they did, a lot of it is, it's the same thing, but a little different. But it works, and I like it a lot. I don't think I like it as much as Welcome to the Jungle. It wasn't as strong. It wasn't like as pleasant of a surprise as that movie was. But this one still did a lot of things really, really well. Very thoroughly entertaining movie. And Danny DeVito will always be the Penguin from Batman Returns to me, and nothing else.
I will give you that one. I watched him in that as a kid as well. I mean, those older Batman films, I growing up on them were excruciating fun, and I I honestly, as soon as you said that, I was like, I can't believe I left that one out when mentioning him in Twins and Matilda. And I mean, the guy has been in film after film. I mean, he's an awesome actor, and I love seeing him in films.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun fact: Batman Returns was the #1 movie in theaters the day I was born. So there you go.
I could not tell you what was the number one
I
film
was
in
so
theater.
curious I had to look it up. It wasn't released on the day I was born, but it was the #1 movie in theaters on the day I was born, and I grew up loving that movie, and particularly Michelle Pfeiffer in that movie.
I'll give you that one. Yeah, I know you said you don't know if you think this one tops Welcome to the Jungle. I would say that there's parts of this film and there's acting in this film that I do enjoy more and I have a more fun time with. So I mean it's almost it's like a 50-50 battle for me when I compare the two, because it's a lot of the same characters. They're experiencing a lot of the same things and problems in the game Jumanji,
Mhm.
but it's just there's different levels. It's almost like, well, do I like
Almost like it's the next level.
right. I hate you. But you almost compare like which levels do you like more? Like the levels in Welcome to the Jungle, or do you like the levels better in this one and like the finale in this one compared to Welcome to the Jungle? Or some people are gonna say the film as a whole they like this one or that one, but I fight back and forth with Welcome to the Jungle and this one from almost like scene to scene. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. They're quite close. It's not like a one blows the other out of the water. It kind of comes down to preference.
yeah, it absolutely does. Let me give you some quick background on the film. I don't have a lot here for you, but just some quick background on Jumanji: The Next Level. It is a 2019 American adventure comedy film directed by Jake Kasdan, who co-wrote the script with Jeff Pinkner and Scott Rosenberg. The film is, as they say, the fourth installment in the Jumanji film series and the sequel to Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle from 2017. Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Nick Jonas, Alex Wolff, Morgan Turner, and Sir Darius Blaine and Madison Saman reprised their roles from the previous film, while Aquafina, Danny Glover, and Danny DeVito joined the cast. The film's plot takes place 2 years after Welcome to the Jungle, in which the same group of teenagers, along with an old friend and two unwitting additions, become trapped in Jumanji once again. There, they all find themselves facing new problems and challenges with both old and new avatars while having to save the land from a new villain to escape. Principal photography took place between January 21st and May 11th, 2019, in locations including Atlanta, New Mexico, Alberta, and Hawaii. Jumanji: The Next Level was released in the United States on December 13th, 2019 by Sony Pictures Releasing. The film received generally positive reviews from critics, while becoming the 10th highest grossing film of 2019, and a sequel is set for release date on December 11th, 2026. So there is a
So
little
they
background.
say. So they say. A year and a half out. We'll see if that's actually going to happen. I don't know if they're filming or anything yet, but we'll see.
Well, I have heard that Dwayne Johnson, like all the characters, like all the main cast, Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and Karen Gillan, have shown interest and said they would return for another Jumanji sequel, as the first two that they have done box office, like big numbers at the box office. So I mean, I
And
wouldn't be opposed to
heck, I would have
returning.
I would have imagined when they made. I mean, like they do with everything these days. I would have imagined when they made the first one that they were probably all signed to like 3 movies, but maybe not.
Yeah, maybe it was see how this one does and go film to film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't.
Well,
I know they do that with directors a lot. If a
yeah.
director is like, oh, we'll sign a 3-year picture deal with you if you do this film first, type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's hoping they cut the check and make it happen.
Yeah, I would not be against a fourth true Jumanji movie at all. Why don't we go ahead and get into a trailer for Jumanji The Next Level. We'll get a plot synopsis read off, and we'll get into some numbers, some fun facts, and finish up with our favorite categories of the film.
Sounds good.
You still talking to your friends?
It's complicated.
Many a tear has to fall,
When we first got together,
but it's all
we were different people.
in the game. All in the wonderful game.
Grandpa Eddie?
Anthony?
This is Martha and Bethany. This is Spencer's grandfather.
Nice to meet you.
Morning. Sorry to barge in on you.
You're not barging, he's barging.
Milo Walker.
Did you guys see Spencer?
I think he went back in. We gotta go get him.
Are you out of your mind? We haven't even picked our guys yet.
Oh, he just started falling.
You hear something?
Huh?
Spencer.
Huh?
What?
Who are you?
Oh my God. You're Spencer's grandfather.
Are we in Florida?
And you?
Milo Walker. Did I die and turn into some kind of a small, muscular Boy Scout?
Are we dead?
Bethany?
No!
Rich?
I'm the old fat dude. This can't be happening! My hip sure feels good now.
Look at my thighs.
Look at your thighs.
Look at my thighs.
Okay, we have some issues here.
The game is busted.
It was a game. I'm not it. I don't want to be it. Welcome to Jumanji.
This next venture is even more challenging. And remember, the future of Jumanji is in your hands.
I have one important question. Who is Jumanji?
Is that Barbara's boy?
We're gonna die.
We did die.
Are we in hell?
I knew it.
Oh my God.
All in the wonderful game.
This is a whole new thing.
Let me know.
You got to have eyes in the back of your head.
What in the Sam Hill?
What the hell is this?
It's your strengths and weaknesses.
Smoldering intensity? It's a stupid face you make. Huh?
What's going on? You having a heart attack? Breathe. Breathe. His whole left side is shutting down. Eddie.
All in the wonderful game.
After their adventures in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, Spencer Gilpin, Anthony Fridge Johnson, Martha Capley, and Bethany Walker plan to meet up over Christmas break to hang out after being apart for their first semester of college. Spencer, feeling despondent that his life is not as glamorous as his friends, enters Jumanji wanting to feel like his avatar again, the strong, courageous Dr. Smolder Bravestone. On visiting his house when Spencer fails to show up as planned, his friends are shocked to realize he entered the game. They follow him knowing he cannot get out by himself. Unfortunately, Spencer's grandfather Eddie and Eddie's estranged friend Milo, who are upstairs, are also sucked into the game, as Bethany is left behind. She turns to Alex Freak for help. Martha once again becomes the avatar Ruby Roundhouse, but Fridge becomes Bethany's old avatar, Professor Sheldon Oberon, while Eddie and Milo become Dr. Smolder Bravestone and Franklin Mouse Finbar. Expecting the same gameplay, the group is surprised by a new plot. Jumanji is suffering from a drought. To end the game, they must recover a magical necklace called the Falcon Jewel, stolen by warlord Jurgen the Brutal. After escaping a stampede of ostriches, they meet up with Spencer at a bazaar, who also has a new avatar, a skilled female thief called Ming Fleetfoot. The group struggles adjusting to their avatars and have trouble with Milo not being able to relay information quickly enough, and Eddie's volatile carelessness costing them several lives. They reunite with Alex as his avatar Jefferson Seaplane McDonough, along with Bethany, who has become a black stallion named Cyclone. Eddie learns that Milo is terminally ill and wants to make amends before he dies, which leads them to reconcile. The group finds a river with magical water that allows them to switch avatars. This lets Spencer, Fridge, and Bethany to return to their original avatars, Bravestone, Finbar, and Oberon again, while Eddie and Milo are given Ming and Cyclone, respectively. When Eddie and Milo are captured by Jurgen's soldiers, their friends split up to rescue their teammates and get to the Falcon Heart. They fight off Jurgen and his men and steal back the gem. Cyclone, who turns into a winged horse, flies up to the sky, with Eddie, who shows the necklace to the sky so the sunlight touches it as instructed, yelling Jumanji's name, and therefore completing the game. Milo, who appreciates his new flying form, opts to stay in the game. The rest return to the real world, and Spencer reconciles with his friends. In a mid-credits scene, Spencer's mother brings a repairman into the house, who sees the broken video game console and inadvertently triggers the game. Simultaneously, a herd of ostriches appears outside Nora's restaurant, and Spencer and the others are surprised to see the creatures from the world of Jumanji loose in the real world. All right, how about we jump into some numbers here? Jumanji: The Next Level had a budget of $128 million with a box office return of $801.7 million, which of course, Chris has our inflation numbers for those. So what did we inflate in the last 6 years?
Yes, in 6 short years, that 125 to 128 million budget would be about 157 million. And that 800 million box office return would be just a hair over 1 billion at about 1.008 billion. Yeah, just kind of sad that 6 years and it's still quite a notable amount of inflation on those numbers.
Yeah, you're looking at, for the budget, around 30 million, or roughly, I mean, you could probably say what, like 23% of the budget increase or so, just under a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, because 30 million of 120 would basically be 25%, and it
Yeah,
basically went up by 30 million. So yeah, essentially 25%.
that is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, insane.
But it did very well at the box office. I mean, this film was a massive success. Clearly, why they say a sequel is supposedly in the works, but again, we will see on that one. I mean, if you make as much money as this did on the budget it has, you would think a sequel would come out. But I mean, I'm sure they got to figure out the story and what they're gonna do on the next one, because I know they had ideas on the last one to where it turns into an app on your cell phone, and do they keep it the video game, or what do they do for the next one? So I guess we'll see.
Indeed, we will.
Some other numbers for Jumanji: The Next Level. This film was rated a 7 out of 10 on IMDb, has a 77% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 58% rating on Metacritic, which of course Metacritic seems to kill all of our movies, and then 77% of Google users liked this film. So Metacritic being the only stickler here.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay.
They can take it and shove it, because I would say this movie's a solid C plus B minus. I have a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, certainly. I won't even think I'd call it a C. I mean, I think it's a solid B.
I just tend to, I grew up watching wrestling. So, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, I was a big fan of him. I went to a couple wrestling things when I was younger. And it's just, seeing him in films, especially something like this where he doesn't get to act like himself. It's Danny DeVito, kind of like him portraying his version of Danny DeVito, or Grandpa Eddie in the film. Like, I like seeing that, and I've also been a big fan of Kevin Hart as well, and Jack Black. So, and any film that these guys are in, I'm gonna like and probably rate pretty highly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm in agreement there. There was a point in time when I was a kid where I wanted to watch every movie The Rock was in, until, so we'll see how it goes.
That is all I have for you on the numbers section of this film. Why don't I roll on over into the fun facts and see what we got going on over there?
Let's do this. Tell me about how Arnold was almost in the movie and all this other stuff.
He was almost Van Pelt in this one, or
yeah, no kidding.
Oh, my first one for you here.
Almost cast.
How who?
Tom Cruise is almost cast. Some buck wild out of nowhere thing. Sure, break it out.
I don't think I have any of those for
No,
you.
I was making a joke. Just
Oh,
making a
I
joke.
know. I get we got the same sense of humor here. My first fun fact for you here is this film had one of the fastest turnaround times from filming to release for a major studio movie, with filming starting in February and wrapping in May for a December release of the same year.
Wow. Wow, that is a pretty quick turnaround. They really push the pedal to the metal on this one. That's impressive.
Yeah, you're looking
The
at
fact that the fact that the movie wasn't a total mess is pretty awesome.
yeah, you figure 3.5, 4 months for filming, editing, everything. That you're talking like that sounds like some like sci-fi cheap B movie like turnaround time.
Yeah, no kidding.
I guess they when I read that it said they wanted to get a very fast turnaround to jump on the success of Welcome to the Jungle, that they weren't kidding whatsoever.
Yeah, literally 2 years. I mean, that's like lightning, especially for a big blockbuster film.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as big as this one, 125 million, 128 million-dollar budget. It's a very quick turnaround time for filming. So I mean, some of the older movies we've talked about, we say, "Oh, this was filmed in 15 days or 17 days." But then if you look at the turnaround time for the special effects and editing and everything like that, then it turns into a 6 months process, even though it only took 3 weeks to film the movie. So 4 months is pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
In Kevin Hart's 2009 comedy stand-up special entitled "I'm a Grown Little Man," he tells a story about he and his friends getting chased by an ostrich. And in this movie, Kevin Hart and some of his co-stars get chased by numerous ostriches during one of the levels in the game. I thought that was a fun connection.
Yeah, that's called being on brand.
Did you ever watch and hear that story that he in that special from him?
What year was that special? Because there was one Kevin Hart special that I actually saw in theaters, and I'm trying to think if it was that one.
That one was 2009.
Oh, then heck, I might have seen it. I watched a lot of Kevin Hart stuff back in the day, so I don't know if I particularly saw that one or not. I couldn't tell you.
It just gives me a laugh because he's talking about they were speeding in the car and the ostrich, his body was moving forward, but his head was like his head was staring him down in the car while the ostrich and as soon as I made that connection with watching this, I was kind of like seeing if like the director put in like any scenes of an ostrich running like that, like locking eyes, like just running them down. So it was a fun connection for me because I like all his old comedy specials. I haven't watched some of the new ones, but some of his older stuff from when I was in high school, man, I still get a kick out of.
Oh yeah, when he was first on the scene, he was great. I remember seeing him in Scary Movie 3.
Yes.
I remember seeing him in the 40-year-old virgin.
My next one for you here, I don't have a lot on this film. There was a lot to be found, but a lot of them were just like kind of almost like run-on paragraphs, and I didn't want to sit here and read a 3-minute fun fact and bore you to death.
Yeah, the whole novel of fun facts,
Literally.
anecdotes.
But I do have two more for you here. My first one is this film borrows two elements from a draft of the previous movie, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. First, Bravestone encounters a scorned NPC ex-lover who leads them to a clue. Also, the team traverses the rope bridges with Van Pelt's men chasing them instead of mandrills, which was supposed to be the climax of Welcome to the Jungle. So those two were saved for this film instead of the 2017 Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, a little bit of a Jurassic scenario where they're just anything that doesn't get used in one movie gets used in another movie.
Yeah, I mean, if the sequences work in a film, if you put those into Welcome to the Jungle, do they work better than they do in this film? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll never know, but I do like those sequences added into this one.
Yeah, I think they work well.
And then my last one for you here is when the characters find a river with the glowing green water that allows them to switch avatars, American rock band Guns N' Roses' song Welcome to the Jungle plays. And it's the same song that played during the ending credits from the previous movie, which also gave the former its title for the movie.
Yeah, I think that's fun. That's that's actually one of my favorite moments in the movie.
I do like that. And I also like that it was, I said on the last episode that it was Jack Black who was the one who decided, like, who he didn't decide, but he recommended, like, hey, let's name the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. And then he had the idea to put the song Welcome to the Jungle in during the end credits of Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. So
Here's another bit of a fun fact that I meant to mention during the the last Jumanji film, Welcome to the Jungle, is that the rock film The Rundown at one point was going to be called Welcome to the Jungle.
I did read that fun fact, and
because when I was a kid and we were following the illustrious career of The Rock, when they were talking about, whatever the next movie was and everything, the working title for at least a time was called Welcome to the Jungle. And then they ended up calling it The Rundown.
And I know that in I can't remember exactly what ones, but some foreign territories outside of the US, that is
did they
still
call
the title, yes.
There you go. I thought that might have been the case. That's very exciting. It's very fun.
Yes, absolutely.
The Rock, and plus, like, half the Rock's movies he's in the jungle.
You are not
Cruise,
wrong.
Welcome to the Jungle, The Rundown. I mean, it just goes on and on.
It does.
The Journey to the Center of the Earth movies, he's very much in sort of jungle type scenario in the second Journey to the Center of the Earth movie. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he just keeps starring and getting roles in more and more films. So I'm sure these won't be the last
excuse for him to wear like a tight button up, tan shirt.
Or a tight, as you can get, Under Armour, the dry fit shirt, so he can look as massive as he possible.
Yeah, Under Armour and the finger gloves, like from Fast 5.
Yep. That is all the fun facts I have for you, though. I'm cruising along here. This is one of those films I didn't find a lot on. I tried to search extra, and like I said, if I wanted to spend a half hour in fun facts, I definitely could have did that. But I figured we wouldn't do that. Not on this film. Some of the ones coming up, absolutely, we're gonna do that on some of the fun facts. But I'll dive right into who our favorite character was and ask if you would like to go first for that, or your favorite avatar.
Sure. So, favorite avatar would be tough because they're all switching bodies so much. But I would say actually my favorite character is actually Grandpa Eddie, just because any of the bodies he was in, those actors doing the Danny DeVito mannerisms and impersonations was just the most fun to me. So I liked Grandpa Eddie the most.
I am in 100% agreement with you. I liked all the characters yet again. I mean, it's a very good cast. The teenagers, they seem to fit together and be a little more balanced in this one than they were the last film, almost like actual legit friends. Like after the first film, they almost like bonded and actually like were chatting with each other in between films, and now in this one they seem like a literal group of friends. But
yeah, they're a squad this time. They're a team.
Yeah, and I mean in the first one, you got the jock, you got the prissy girl who thinks she's too good for everyone in Bethany, and then you got like the nerdy kind of like girl, and it's just in this one they found it and figured it all out, and now they're friends after the first one, after all the stuff they went through in Welcome to the Jungle, and it feels genuine. It doesn't feel forced, and I like that. So the all around the cast is great.
I like that they played up that they all kind of stayed friends after, and it wasn't like we haven't seen each other in 2 years since that happened and whatnot. I kind of like that it's like, oh, they bonded and like they totally all stayed friends. Like I kind of dig that.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though, some went to school, so they didn't talk every day, but they tried to stay in communication as much as they could. Like that seems like a real life thing, like from friends from high school or college or whatever it may be. You might not talk every day, but hey, like I haven't seen you in a month. Like, do you want to go grab breakfast or lunch or something, or go see a movie, have a cookout? It seems genuine in this film.
When you escape from Jumanji together, that's a lifelong bond.
So I like the entire cast, but Grandpa Eddie, especially as Dr. Bravestone, was my favorite for sure. And I mean,
yeah, that's probably the best combination, sure.
Yeah, and I mean, what was Grandpa Eddie's friend's name? I'm drawing a blank.
Milo Walker.
Yes, Milo. Milo as Kevin Hart was fun. I mean,
that was a match made in heaven. That was, I mean, it's just Kevin Hart doing like his old man thing, but like Kevin Hart as Danny Glover is also great.
Yes, and I mean, you get Fridge, him and Jack Black, and everything that they did in this film to like mismatch people, like it worked out perfect. So like the characters in this film and the casting, I think this is my favorite.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was great.
So I definitely there's a lot of quotes in this film, just as the last one with Welcome to the Jungle. But some of the quotes I chose were kind of like, one was from Fridge, of course, and this is before they entered the game. He goes, "I gotta stop hanging out with white people. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me," and that just gives me a laugh because you always hear about like white people's decisions in horror movies and this and that. They want to go towards the noise, or they want to go see, what that noise was in the forest or something like that. So it brought me back to like horror movies when people are like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Like we're going the opposite way. Why are you going towards the noise or something like that? And that one gave me a huge laugh. Another one was from Milo's character, or Kevin Hart, or Mouse, they call him. They say it's Moose, but they in the game they say it's pronounced Mouse. And he goes, "Did I die and turn into some sort of small muscular Boy Scout?" And that's just, there's so many lines in this that give me a laugh.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's the delivery. If I have two dialogue exchanges that I loved a lot, and one of them is when Ruby, she says, he's, what was it? An NPC, a non-player character. He has a limited number of things he can say. And Milo Walker as Mouse says, "My friend Carl's the same way." And that just, everyone's had one of those friends that you could swear that if it were a video game, maybe they'd be an NPC. Some coworker or something. They tell the same stories, do the same things, have the same thing going on all the time. And then of course I like the exchange where between the avatars of Shelley Oberon and Ruby, where she says, "If you touch my boobs, I will murder you." He says, "Too late. That was the first thing I did."
That one,
that's just good. That's just classic.
That one 100% gave me a laugh, because as a man in a woman's body, it's probably one of the first things you're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, in a scenario where that happened, you would. Yeah, I mean, outside of the existential horror, the first thing you'd probably do is be like, "Well, let me see what these feel like."
I like when Danny DeVito's character, Grandpa Eddie, he's acting as Bravestone, and he's like, "Man, my hip feels pretty good right now," and he's like stretching everything out, and he's like, "Oh, my joints feel like butter."
I haven't looked like that since never.
Never.
You never. Like that, never.
Or even him, when they all finally switch avatars and they get into the correct avatars where they want to be. and he's like, Grandpa Eddie is playing as Ming, and he's doing, I can't remember the exact scene, but he's doing all the flips, and like they're trying to get the jewel, or what the
Yeah,
hell are they?
yeah.
They're trying to get the jewel so they can show it to the son, and he's like, "I'd love to see your friend Ming do that," and he's like,
Yeah.
why would I have lockpicks? You know, and he's just like stuttering over and over again. It's
Yeah.
played so well because you could see that
Yeah.
coming from Danny DeVito as a character.
I will say that generally I find Aquafina to be extremely annoying, so she holds this movie down for me. You know, the actress playing Ming, I find her voice and so much about her to just be really annoying, but she's tolerable enough in this movie, I suppose.
Absolutely. You know, there's one that goes with my favorite scene, so I'll save it for that. And
Fair
then
enough.
one of the other quotes that I wanted to mention, that it was like the first laugh I got out of the movie is when Grandpa Eddie as Dr. Bravestone, like in his avatar, goes, "Are we in Florida?" And the way The Rock's voice kind of pitches to try to sound like Danny DeVito just made me break out laughing in my living room the first time I seen it.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good.
They definitely try to deliver, you know, as much as they can. They put a lot of care into this with what they did for the avatars and the characters that they were supposed to be portraying.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm sure for this one we'll have a couple again. But what was your favorite scene in the film?
It was actually, we've kind of circled around it in the discussion, but it was actually when they find the river and Welcome to the Jungle plays, and everyone kind of gets their quote unquote right bodies back, their right avatars back. That was actually my favorite scene, just because it's like, yeah, it's go time. Like it's just really fun. You know, we've done the whole everybody mixed matched, and all of that other things, but now it's like it's go time. It's time to get everyone back to normal and get it done. That was actually my favorite scene.
That was a good one. I liked just after that, you know, Fridge asked Bethany, you know, like, "How's your ankle?" And she's like, it hurts, but definitely not as bad as you were making it out to be. Like makes Fridge kind of look like a wuss.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and that would be what someone would do, like just minimize your pain.
My favorite, like my hands down favorite scene for the film, what like the character intros were great for this one again. When we're introduced to the avatars, when we realize that Milo Walker and Grandpa Eddie are in instead of like Bethany and like we find out Spencer's a different character. He's not his normal character. But my favorite scene was when they were getting chased by the ostriches, you know, the herd of them. And one of the favorite parts is when Kevin Hart's character Mouse is he's getting pulled out of the car by one of them, and Dr. Bravestone has to grab onto him. He pulls him back in, and he just delivers a haymaker right hand, and he goes, "Beat it!" And you just hear Milo as Mouse's character go, "Get out of here!" And
Yeah.
like, dude, you were almost launched for these birds, and you're lucky you got saved. And a little
Yeah.
later on, they're like,
Almost every line that Kevin Hart delivers as Milo Walker
"Is a
is
gem."
is worth being one of the best lines of the movie.
Yes, he
When he's doing the smolder and he's like he's having a stroke, breathe or
the
whatever.
whole
Like,
left side of his body is shutting down.
yeah. Like, good lord.
A little later on in the ostrich scene, they one of my favorite quotes as well was Dr. Bravestone is like, "They're flightless birds," and Ruby Roundhouse is like, "This is a flightless dune buggy," and they're like, "We're not gonna make it." And Dr. Bravestone is just absolutely calm, you know. Grandpa Eddie, he's like, "We're gonna make it," and then he's like, "We're not gonna make it," and they crash, and they just go for they lift up from Dr. Bravestone from him, and you just see him go, "That was fantastic." And that whole scene there's so many things to laugh at in that scene. I love it. It gives me a laugh every time.
Definitely.
Why don't we go ahead? I think that's all we have for our favorite categories of this, where this one's going to be a quick episode for us. But why don't we go into some final thoughts? We can rank the three Jumanji films from, I don't know if you want to go least to favorite or favorite to least, but we can do that, and then we'll get into what we're getting into on our next episode. So if you want to start on some final thoughts.
Yeah, sure. Jumanji: The Next Level is good, wholesome family entertainment, which is weird to say. It's weird to kind of like defend that. I'm not here to be some champion of like we need good family films, but like it's nice to get a cool, fun blockbuster that's not part of some like 30 film franchise that nobody needs to know like the lore and be an expert on, and it's kind of just like an easy action comedy adventure movie that everyone can watch and not worry too much about it, and the stakes aren't so high, and it's a worthy sequel to Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, and I think it'll end up being a solid second chapter of the sort of new Manji trilogy, if you will. And I think the third one will come out and it'll have a lot of the same stuff that the first two did well, and personal preference over whether you like it more than the previous one. If I had to give my personal rankings, I think I'd put the original on top, then Welcome to the Jungle, and then I think The Next Level would be the third best, but I wouldn't classify it as the worst. And that'd be my take on it.
So your ranking for these three would it be like 3, 2, 1 then?
Yeah, I suppose.
Like you don't mean to say this one's the worst, but like it would go this one at the bottom, Welcome to the Jungle, and then the first Jumanji. Would you say?
Yeah, and I mean, and honestly, like nothing against Robin Williams and the nostalgia, but I mean, I really love Welcome to the Jungle a lot. So like, I would maybe even like as a personal preference prefer that to the original. And I don't like to change on the fly or whatever, but I mean, the original and Welcome to the Jungle are like 1A and 1B, and then this one is not quite as good, but still pretty good. If they didn't have Aquafina in it, maybe it'd be better.
Okay, see, and for me, like I love this film. Like final thoughts, like it's 100% a recommend. I mean I think it lives up to the Jumanji name, especially when you're talking about like Welcome to the Jungle. I mean, the first one is a classic on its own, but I mean, this is a great film. Dwayne Johnson and like the cast that they bring back, everyone that they bring back from Welcome to the Jungle, they do a phenomenal job, and they do justice to the film that they were in prior to this one. And I mean, it's just a good time. It's something you can watch with the family, something you can watch by yourself. So I mean, this is one that I put on every now and again, whether I got friends over or whether I'm alone. So I mean, this is a fun film for me. And if I had to rank them, it would honestly be like if you were asking me on like how good of film like the film is on its own, like if we're going by like filmmaking standards, or if you're going off of my like personal enjoyment. Because if you're going off my personal enjoyment, I think The Next Level would be at the bottom. I think the original Jumanji would be in the middle in the 2 spot, and then I think Welcome to the Jungle would be number 1. But if you're going off of like how well the films are made, how much nostalgia they have and things like that, then I think you would go The Next Level, Welcome to the Jungle, and the original Jumanji at the top. So I mean, it's just all on how you look at it.
I think I would agree with that. I would think that I would say I could probably like the original Jumanji is sort of a better made film, a more traditionally kind of structured movie. But Welcome to the Jungle is more entertaining. I would absolutely agree with that assessment. I think that's a great appraisal of the three films.
Yeah, it's just I think these two, for me, Welcome to the Jungle and The Next Level, are easier to rewatch. But that first film was just, when I was younger, it was so captivating for me with the special effects and seeing what they did with the story of Jumanji, the game like coming to life per se. So
yeah, it has a certain magic to it.
Yeah, and I mean these, it's a CGI blockbuster that was given, the name Jumanji, and they brought in blockbuster type characters such as Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black. Karen Gillan, I mean, she's a great actress, but she's not up on par with, Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart and them, at least to me. The movies they've been in so many things, and I haven't seen her in as much. So when you put
Yeah, she's not as famous. The debate can be made about talent, but she's not certainly not as prominent. I mean, what Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart have their niches that they fill. They have their character actors. Their action guy, their comedy sidekick guy. I think Karen Gillan probably has more overall like dramatic range. Like you see her in more of a variety of things, and she could play a different variety of characters. Like, for example, not only is she in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and she's awesome in theirs, but she's in a horror film called Oculus, and she's absolutely incredible in it. The director of Doctor Sleep, Mike Flanagan, who's made a lot of great horror films, he directed Oculus, and Karen Gillan is phenomenal.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that one. So if you haven't seen that one, check Oculus out. I think we said that in our last episode as well.
Yeah. I had forgotten if you had seen it or not seen it.
I definitely have.
Yeah. Oculus is great. Like, it's so underrated. It's so not known, and it's such an underrated like gem of a movie.
Absolutely, 100%. And I mean, we that is a horror film, as in what we are going to be getting into here very soon on our next episode. I know I released the our July release schedule a while ago, but I mean, if people don't pay attention to that, I mean, there's going to be some people that are going to be excited about this. But rumors say that Jumanji: The Next Level does have a sequel in development, of course, as we've said, slated for December 26th. But next on Chills and Thrills, on our next episode, we're going to be doing one of my personal favorite franchises over the next 13 weeks. That'll lead us right into the Monday before Halloween and spooky season, beginning with the original film in John Carpenter's 1978 film, Halloween. So I've been waiting to do this and this film and this franchise on the podcast. I'm super excited about it because Halloween's one of the first horror movies I ever seen as a kid. I think I was roughly 5 years old, and from all the films down the line that we've got, I'm definitely excited to do this franchise. Get back into a little horror vibe. We're coming up on August and September into October, so this franchise will run us through those months, like I said, all the way into 4 days before we get to Halloween. So this will be fun to dive into.
Yes, the other, getting into another iconic horror franchise with many entries, so we can get back into our fun groove of talking about death scenes and favorite characters and ranking the franchise from 1 to 13 and all that good stuff, just like we did with the Friday the 13th movies, but we'll run it back with Halloween and compare and contrast as we go through each entry.
Yes, it should be fun because as I've said before, I don't know if Chris has ever heard me say this, but Michael Myers is my hands down favorite horror movie villain, serial killer, whatever you want to call him. But
I never would have guessed. I never would have been able to know that about you.
But as a unit, as an entirety, I enjoy the Friday the 13th franchise a little more. So this is going to be a fun discussion on how I compare and contrast those two that are my two favorite horror franchises.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And it's going to be another trip down memory lane, another great nostalgia trip, good old classic. There's just something really fun and American horror movies. I mean, not that most movies aren't American movies, but American horror movies, there's something very there's this whole like Americana kind of vintage feel to them. When they get old, they just kind of have this great appeal because horror movies are often about more or less everyday people in more or less contemporary times. So getting to watch them it's like this. It's always this like great little peer back in time. I mean, you could watch dramas from the era and comedies and things like that, but horror movies, they always have the slice of life scenes, or they're showing, you know, in the case of Halloween, how people celebrated Halloween, and you just get a little glimpse into kind of like the way it was done back then. And as they get older, they're kind of like they're glimpses into the culture of a bygone era, and so they get this, they mature in value in some ways, you know, even if they might not be as scary anymore, they have other things that are appealing about them.
Absolutely. And so I can't wait to get into that. Even, you know, I've had fun doing the Rush Hours, the Ace Venturas, you know, the Jurassic Park and World franchise have been great. You know, digging into the Jumanji films, especially the original, you know, having not watched that for a long time has been great. But I'm ready to get, you know, Halloween was one of those first films that got me into horror movies hardcore. So I'm ready to dig in. So I mean, I definitely, before we get out of here, want to say thank you, and I can't wait to get to the Halloween franchise in the coming weeks.
100%.
So as always, before we get out of here, check out our Facebook page. You know, we do have our YouTube channel, Chills and Thrills, you know, of the same name. We are on Spotify, of course, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. But if you are on Spotify, don't forget to, any episode you listen to, vote on the poll that's under the episode. Under each episode, we put a poll up there, like, you know, what was your favorite scene in the film, and we'll give some options, or favorite character, line of dialogue. We try to do a different one for every episode that we do. And then, of course, watch Halloween before our next episode, and then listen to us, you know, come back and listen to us talk about it. And give us your opinions on it. Drop a comment under the episode or on Facebook after we release the episode, and let us know what you think about the original Halloween film, or what you thought about it, or any of these episodes that you listen to. You know, drop us a comment. And, you know, any of our rankings, give us a ranking back, and just let us know. We love getting the feedback from anyone who listens. We love commenting back and forth with you guys. We love getting the comments on our YouTube channel and being able to reply with you guys and kind of talk and go back and forth on all these films that we kind of grew up with and are going back through on the episodes of this podcast. It's a fun time for us, so we appreciate it. All right, so thank you, Chris, as always. Thank anyone who's out there listening. And again, John Carpenter's 1978 film Halloween on our next episode, but until next time.
What the hell?
It's your strengths and weaknesses. I mean, your avatar, Dr. Bravestone's strengths and weaknesses.
Fearless? Check. Speed? Climbing? Boomerang? Smoldering intensity?
It's this stupid face you make.
Huh?
There it is.
Ew, old man, get it together.
Eddie, you okay? You having a heart attack? His whole left side is shutting down. Eddie, look at me. Here you go, now you're back.